So for this tutorial here, I'm going to show you how to make a bralette. I've been really interested in making clothes lately. So this I had started to make a kind of two-top shirt and I don't really think it's going to work out the bottom part, but I made this. And as you can see, I don't know, I did know, I just wasn't able to do it, how to carry over your other color. So this one I ended up with a bunch of ends that I'm going to have to weave in. I don't even know how to weave in those ends, but I'll figure it out when the time comes. But I'm redoing a tutorial that I made this morning because I used different, like a red yarn. My other phone was a horrible camera. I don't even think it's in focus. And I'm going to do the tutorial with these colors. And I am going to show you also at the same time how to work your, like if it's two colors, work your yarn over three. You probably, if you're working with like 4, 5, 6 different colors, it can be a mess because they're all still attached to the skein. So I'm just starting off obviously with two. And when you're working, so what, just don't mind this part here, but when you're doing any kind of bralette, you want to measure your underbust, which is all the way around where like your bra snap would go. So me, it was 34 inches. And then the main part that you're going to need is basically from the mid breast, so your nipple to your underbust. So where like if you had a wire bra or whatever the case may be, your nipple right to your underbust where that wire would be. So me, it's 3.5 inches. So the 3.5 inches is what you are always going to measure by to start making your bralette. And that's why I have here different yarns that I've used along with different hook sizes, because obviously different yarn sizes, different hook sizes, my original foundation chain is going to be different. So the one that we're working with today is this one here. They're both red heart. The blue is jumbo, the pink, I'm not sure, just regular with a 5mm crochet hook. I chained 15 plus, I'm not gonna put it here, but 15 is going to be 15 plus 1 because we're gonna be working in single crochet, but that's gonna come when we go through the pattern. But this is really, really good to note down, have written down along with all of your other measurements, especially if you want to make clothes. For example, here I used a regular Karen cake with a 6.5mm hook and I had to only chain 11. Same yarn, but with a 5.5mm hook, smaller hook, I had to chain more, so obviously 16, and so on, just some of my random yarns so that don't have the label on them anymore. I just write down, what yarn it is and what size hook I used, how many I had to chain. That way I don't always have to do my foundation chain, measure it each time if I want to change up the yarn or change up the hook as I'm practicing and so on. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the basic middle section of the bralette. So I'm starting off with the jumbo red heart in the blue because that's what I have here in the middle. So we're just going to do this middle section, and that's probably all I'll have enough time for right now. And I'm using a 5mm crochet hook. So obviously you're going to start with your slip knot. And I tend to cut it not too short, but just so like it doesn't get in my way too much. But anyways, so for this one I chain 15 and then plus 1. 15. Okay, so this is my chain 15. Now this should equal 3.5 inches. So whatever your inches are, it should always equal, your foundation chain should always equal whatever your inches are. I'm going to be going by mine obviously throughout this, but this measures 3.5 inches, and then I'm going to do an extra chain because we're working single crochet. Now the second chain from the hook, you're going to work a single crochet. So 1, 2, work a single crochet. And you're going to do the same thing in every chain all the way down to the end. Just work a single crochet in every chain all the way down and wait before you do your last single crochet, and I will meet you there. All right, so I've technically done 14 single crochets. So you've got your last chain here, and in that last chain, you are going to work your last single crochet and then 2 more. So technically you're going to work 3 single crochets. Oh, that was a double. So 1, I'll do it again. 2. So you want 3 in there. Yeah, I've only got 2. Trying to do this in a hurry, which is not helping. 3. All right, so you've got 3 single crochets in your last stitch. Now you're going to want to put a stitch marker. If you're not going to remember, I'm only flipping it just to add the stitch markers. So you've got in your last stitch 1, 2, 3. You're always going to put the stitch marker in the middle one. So the second one. Okay. So this is how. I'll mix up now. All right, so this is how we were working. So this is technically our foundation chain. So instead of turning your work, etc., you're going to flip it. This is what confused me at the beginning because I've never really done this other than with a leaf pattern. So you're going to flip it, and then you're going to work all the way down the other side of your foundation chain. So you're going to find your first chain here, and then just work single crochets all the way down until you get to the very, very end. And there's nothing fancy about the end there. You're just going to work every single chain stitch that is on the other side until you get to the very end. And again, I will meet you there. So I'm doing this really, really quick. I know I think I missed a stitch here, but you're always going to want to make sure that when you're done and you lay it down flat, you have the same amount of stitches, single crochets on each side. Technically, you'll count like, I'd have to have one done right. But anyways, I'm going to show you now. So normally I would switch colors and I would yarn over, get the color switched, and then cut it. So we're not doing that this time. So you're still going to change colors as you normally would. So you're going to yarn over and pull it through. Now for the next one, you're going to this here, chain one, and then you're going to turn your work. So now you want to be able to have the colors so they alternate like this, but if I were to just go along with the pink, the blue is going to be on this side and then the pink is going to be on this side. So that doesn't work. So what we're going to do is we're going to work our blue yarn. So technically that's the one we want to hide. So I just find it easier. They talk about wrong side, right side. We're completely covering it because I don't want it showing through any side. So after your chain one, it doesn't count as a single crochet. So you're going to single crochet into that first stitch. Oh, wait. And it's kind of hard for the first one, but the only time you want your color that you're hiding, over top or underneath. Let me get, wait, okay, there we go. So yeah, the only time you're going to want the color that you're hiding, so the blue in my case, is when you're inserting your hook through. So I'm going to insert for a single crochet, grab the pink and pull it through. Now the blue yarn, if I find I have it hanging over facing me, it just makes it so much easier. I'm going to yarn over like I would in a single crochet, pull through the 2 loops, and you're always going to want to kind of tug and pull, make sure there's none sticking out. But again, I'm going underneath, insert for a single crochet, grabbing the pink, pulling it up and over top of the blue, and then just wrapping around like a normal single crochet, pull through the 2 loops, and as you can see, it's hidden on both sides. So that's how you're going to work. If you want to rotate colors, I am. So I'm going to work this way, and you're going to continue this with single crochets all the way up until you get to your stitch marker or your middle crochet. So I'm going to do that, and I'll meet you back there again. Okay, so you've single crocheted all the way down to your stitch marker. So I'm just going to take it out really quick, and you're going to do 3 double crochets in that same stitch. So let me get this right here. So 3 double crochets. One. So insert. I mean, I did the color thing wrong. Not. Yeah, so 3 double crochets. Now again, I'm only turning it around just because I can get a better look at the crochets. So this is from the hook 1, 2, 3. Well, if your hook doesn't fall out like mine. And you're just going to put your stitch marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use anything, bobby pin, bent up paper clip, another piece of yarn, anything like that, if you really need something to help you gauge where that middle stitch is. And then you're just going to do the exact same thing all the way down. You're going to single crochet right from the first stitch here. And I want to cover my string. Oh, I always hate patterns where you alternate between singles, half doubles, and doubles because I'm so bad for yarning over what I'm not supposed to. So insert, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and you're going to do this all the way down. And if you're just using one color, it's even easier. You don't even have to worry about what I'm talking about with the blue. And I also yarned over there. So insert, pull through, yarn over. I'm over top of my blue color, and pull through 2. All right, so this is basically the full crochet pattern until you get the size that you want to cover, and you're going to make 2 of them, obviously. And then I have yet to figure out what I'm going to do for the top, for the halter top. The original one that I made, I don't think is going to work. It's not basically long enough, and I don't want to do a lace kind of backing where it ties up together because it tends to come unraveled, but we'll see. But regardless, when you are making any kind of halter top or thing like a top like this, you're always going to want to, well, not always, I can't say that because I'm just starting to get into making clothes lately. So, but from what I've seen so far, everybody starts with the bralette. So you're going to start with these. And I thought as well, when you made these tops or garments, it was all basically made in one piece. And what eased a lot of my stress and got me into wanting to make clothes and learning on how to make clothes was that they're made in individual pieces. So like I would have the 2 bralettes made, and then I would have whatever type of bottom or tube top made, and then you crochet, basically stitch them together. So you can sew them, but there's so many different crochet stitches, like the whip stitch, a whole bunch of different stitches that you like, slip stitch even, as long as you have the exact same number of stitches in each part that you're trying to stitch together, which you should if you are, especially if you're making clothes. I know I'm going really quick, and I think I've already messed up, but like I said, this is for the sake of the tutorial, and I have my actual second one in progress over there, but I'm running out of time. However, let's just pretend let's switch over. Perfect. So now you've got your 2 colors and your middle stitch. So you would just do the same. So now look, both of your colors are on the same side as opposed to the blue being down here, pink being up here. So you just do the exact same thing. Take your blue now, chain 1, flip your work, single crochet all the way down to your stitch. And like I said, continue that pattern until you are satisfied with the shape, and you won't end up with all of these little ends that you have to weave in. So let me know if this helped, guys. I have a lot more tutorials open for questions, concerns, emotional outbursts, constructive criticism, feedback, everything. Yeah, so subscribe to my channel, and I hope you guys come back for the next one. So I'm just going to do a quick tutorial from what I recently. I was able to do it before when I was crocheting leaves, and you have an extra tail, long tail that you need to hide, or if you're alternating colors like this, so you're not left with all of these strands hanging, because when you alternate colors and you have two of them, you go to attach the other one. When you're done, each color is on a different side. So from like I was able to do it back then, and then just reading through one of my books, I couldn't grasp it. So I kept doing this, but I was working on the second one, and it just out of nowhere it just hit me. So right now I'm doing the pink row, and this is going to go along with my other crochet tutorial for the actual bralette, how to make it. I made it one earlier, but it was with my other phone, which has a really bad camera and different yarn and different colors, so I want it all to just be the same. But this tutorial is not about that. So as you can see here, obviously the two colors, don't mind that, that's nail polish, it's not, anyways, the two colors are together. So when I'm done this row, the two colors will be on the same side, and you can just do your switch up easily. So what you're going to do is obviously, okay, so I'm at the pink doing single crochet. What I find is easiest is the color that you want to cover. Now they talk about working on the wrong side and the right side, but this I'm covering the color completely. I don't want it showing on either side. So you're going to go through as if you're doing your regular single crochet, and I just find the color that you want to hide, if you have it towards you, just makes it easier, and you're going to go over and crochet over top of that. Okay, so that's covered now. Just tighten it, and depending on your yarn and what kind of yarn you're using, obviously it may still seep through, peep through, I guess. Then I'm going to do it again here. So go through, and the blue is closest to me. I'm doing my single crochet and crocheting over top of it. So insert, the only time I'm going underneath the blue really is when I'm inserting it. It's on top, crochet, and you don't even have to hold it, you just have to make sure it's on the right side, and that when you're crocheting, so I looped around to pull through my two loops on my single crochet. This is here, through these two, pull through the two loops, and if ever it sticks out, you just pull on them. Now I may have to do some modifications because obviously this makes it thicker, so it's a lot thicker than this one here because I didn't do that. I don't even know how to weave in the ends on these, so I'm not doing two more, but I'm going to finish this one up, and I'm going to redo the tutorial. So basically, okay, insert single, like, no, I yarned over, I'm so used to doing double crochets. So you're going to have it on top. The only time you're going underneath the color you want to hide is when you insert your hook, single crochet, yarn over, pull through two loops. Again, you're only going underneath it when you're inserting, pull the pink through, it's still the blue that you're hiding is facing you, yarn over, pull through two loops. So again, underneath, insert, pull the pink through, yarn over, pull through two loops, and there you go. You just keep doing that all the way till the end of your row, and then you won't have all of those edges or like frills hanging from the bottom. And this is mainly recommended, I don't know if I said it at the beginning, I don't think so, but for basically more so two, if you're alternating between two colors. Three should be okay. If you've got, like, you know, a whole bunch of different colors, like 6, 7 different colors, that can definitely cause confusion and a total nightmare of a mess when you're turning your work and you've got, you know, 7 different skeins of yarn attached together. And see this one here, I don't think I did it right. Yep, I did. So there. So this is the second bralette, which I'm actually going to fasten off. I don't know how I'm going to fasten off the blue, but anyways, I'm just going to chop it off because I'm starting a new tutorial on how to do the bralette, but I want to do it with these colors so it's consistent. But anyways, I hope that helped, guys. I've been crocheting right now more than anything because I really want to make some clothes. I think I mentioned it a lot, and it's progressing extremely nicely, other than the fact that I slept for like 4 days, but I'm up and at 'em, and I've got my hook. So let's work on these whips.